I guess I kind of wanted to talk about recently. There's another thing that I came across in Abba and Preach reacting to another Fresh and Fit podcast. Basically, a man was saying that if he requests a woman to delete her Instagram in their relation and they're in a relationship, she should, but like kind of without question. But then when the woman turned around and be like, okay, well, back at that then, if I have to delete mine and I ask you to delete yours, the man should also do that as well. And I mean, in the eyes of Fresh and Fit, no, that wasn't necessary. So basically, yeah, they're saying that the girl has to delete it, but the guy doesn't, which is like, again, a double standard. Abba and Preach, when they reacted to it, yeah, they don't agree with that. Like, if you're going to have some sort of respect between a relationship, man or a woman, man and a woman, even though there are different kind of expectations coming from the man and different kind of expectations coming from the woman, there's still a sense of like seeking out an equal fairness towards each other. So if one was expecting the other to delete their Instagram, then it should be reciprocated. I think that's the one thing. Okay, let's talk about reciprocation in relationships. With more modern kind of a outlook on relationships now, these days with feminism, everyone's trying to fight for like equal rights, equal pay, equal kind of partnership, not just in the workforce, but specifically in relationships. Yes, equal is a thing that more people are willing to accept and even seek, and it's a sought after trait between two people in a relationship. So someone who's kind of like, also kind of maybe independent, someone who's maybe financially sound, has a good foundation. A man is looking for a woman with that as well. It used to be that the woman was looking for that in a man, but now it's becoming more of that that ideal of like this 50-50 sense. Mike, if you're available, come out. I have some questions, or if you want to stay in chat, that's fine too. But I wonder, like, for you as an example, or anybody else that could be watching, was the 50-50 thing in your mind, does that still exist for you? Or did it ever exist for you guys? I know you'll be the troll in the chat. That's fine. So, growing up, with our parents, previous gen, I guess am I Gen X? I forget. I'm an 80s kid. So our parents had more of that old school tradition of like, yeah, back then, like kind of the woman role was not so much pushed in the professional sense. I mean, it was starting to be. It was starting to switch over from, the housewife who took care of the kids, who did the cooking and the cleaning and all this stuff at home. And it was almost like society expected that of the woman to take care of the home, while the man, the husband, the male, was the one out working, earning money, doing the hard labor. So maybe if it was like farming at the time, farmers, or even crossing into the industrial evolution where people were going into the workforce, but it was all kind of hard labor type of work. Like, so it wasn't really well suited for females or women back then. So it was generally accepted. Society was very just willing to be cool with the fact that the woman role was at home and the man role was at work. But of course, slowly through time, fighting for votes, women's rights, women finally got power to vote, and then not power to vote, the right to vote, and then women are making their way into the workforce. Technology, I think, is a big reason too for that, where a lot of these new jobs with modern times doesn't require so much of that physical advantage that a man has. It's very much more so based on like more of like IQ level and like an educational, intellectual level, where women can be equal. or like not can be, where they are like there's like the equal opportunity there to seek after those types of jobs. Again, I'm not talking about hard labor jobs or things that a physical attribute would definitely be more of an advantage in the job. But with modern times, people are able to find jobs now where you could, let's even take, for example, like being a cashier. I was having this conversation with a friend, I'll say, and uh, if I'm a cashier working at a McDonald's, I'm a male, and there's a colleague of mine who's a female also working as a cashier at a McDonald's. It's the same level of job. It's like a salary type of job or hourly rate. We're getting paid the same amount of money, right? There is no there's no real physical advantage for me to be doing that job over a female. So that's why we would get paid the same. If we were both now at a sales job, phone sales, let's say, I'm working the phones. We have the same metrics, same requirements. We have to make like 60 calls or 2 hours, 3 hours of talk time a day. And either of us are hitting that metric. Yeah, we get paid the same base salary. And then if you introduce commission, I mean, really, the commission part of it is, I think, a sound model. Like, it makes sense. It's a logical model. It's performance based, where you can really see, okay, is there any advantage for being a male or a female in that particular job? And the only real way to measure that is performance, like how much are you actually selling? So if she's working harder than me and she's making more sales, she's going to make more money than me. That's just, it's built into the way she earns that money. If I'm working harder than her, or it doesn't even have to be working harder, it could be working smarter, either way. But whoever sells more and does better in this particular kind of metric in the job, they're going to earn more money. So there's the whole equal pay thing, and that makes sense. A lot of these debates now for this equal pay is taking into account jobs where the title might be similar, or I'm going to use the word similar. The title of the job might be the same, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the expectations of the job are the same, or the requirements of the job are the same. And what I'm talking about, no, I'm not CEO of one company to another company. Again, when people are taking these averages of like what men make and a particular job title versus what women make in a particular job title, but again, it's not the same company, or it's not the same, it might not even be the same industry. And so it's unfair to make comparisons that way when the job isn't actually the same. It's not identical. You can't make a comparison and say, well, see, why is this CEO, this woman CEO, not making as much as this male CEO? So that's, I think, an unfair comparison. But when you take it into sports, when women's tennis and men's tennis, or you would just say it was used to be tennis, according to Serena Williams, where she was saying, like, it's understandable why they don't have women face men in tennis. And same with basketball, NBA. You've got professional basketball players in a men's league making way more money than professional women playing in professional basketball in their own kind of separate league, play in the same arenas. I don't know exact cost of tickets, how tickets are decided on ticket prices, but clearly, yeah, you're getting millions of dollars as a male professional athlete in the NBA, and I believe women are getting about maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars, but like a fraction of what the men are making. And you say it's the same product. Maybe they play the same amount of minutes, but objectively, when you look at the gameplay, is it the same? Like, competitiveness in women's basketball, yeah, they could be equally as competitive in relation to how competitive men are against each other, right? So you might make that say, see, like, there's this equal amount of competitiveness, it's like, or hard work or whatever it is, but it's the product that ultimately sells the NBA or the WNBA, which is like the entertainment factor of the game. The fact that you have men facing men in the NBA in basketball, it is a more physically demanding game. Like I would say, the level of competition, not competitiveness, but the level of competition is significantly higher in the NBA than it is in the WNBA. So that's one thing that is directly related to the entertainment factor. So there's these women who are saying that, you know, why is LeBron or whatever getting paid all this much money, but we're doing the same caliber of entertainment, same caliber of basketball, but it's not. Clearly, it's not. Like I mean, no insult or disrespect to the WNBA athletes. They're probably way better than me at ball. I mean, I'm still curious to see that, but at the same time, yes, they've made it to their own caliber for their league. Yeah, okay. DayDay's here. What's up, DayDay? I don't know if you're listening. But if you put any female teams up against a male team, do you think the competition is there? Not competitiveness. Again, this like, you know, effort mentality, like, oh, let's reward effort versus achievement. They should shoot threes. Since there isn't as much dunking. Oh, you mean the women? The women should be shooting more 3-pointers? Man, that would be sick. Imagine they were shooting, you know, how like Curry goes off, Harden goes off. Why can't they just have that kind of like crazy threes as well? Isn't as much dunking. I mean, oh, sorry, I see that as the same comment. That's another thing too. Like, should the women's basketball be smaller? Should the women's 3-point line be closer? Should their free throw line be closer? Should their rims be shorter? You know? Should they? There's the question. Should. And if the more you're going to fight for equal, then no. Then all the metrics should be the same. Same 3-point line, same rim height, same size court, same length of quarter, all the same rules. It's easy to do it that way since there isn't. Okay, so that makes sense to me. If you're gonna fight for equal, then all that should remain equal. I wonder still if the basketball is still a different size. I think it is, and if that is because you're addressing, you know, the average kind of like build of women versus men. How men have this, you know, 29.5-inch, I think, basketball versus women, or is it centimeter? Centimeter, 28.5 centimeter or something like that. Let's look it up right now. I'm curious. I haven't looked this up in a long time, but let's see. WNBA basketball size. 28.5 inches. It is inches. And then we're gonna go NBA basketball size. 7, which is, come on, 29.5. 29. So it's an inch bigger. So you're going to think, okay, well, I guess that was to take into account the fact that women in general have smaller hands or smaller build than men, right? But still, like, look at all the kids and all these boys, and even myself, I'm regular Joe here. If I play basketball, I'm using a 29.5-inch basketball on a 10-foot rim and all those metrics or whatever. But I bet you every WNBA athlete probably has bigger hands than I do and is taller than me, right? So do you guys know what I'm saying? Anyway, it's weird when I'm just talking to myself. So in that scenario, like, kind of just beating what's the term, like beating a dead horse. It's not the same level of competition. It's not the same entertainment factor level of game. What's up, DayDay?
What's up?
Welcome. We're talking about men versus women in many aspects.
Oh boy. Okay.
Well, at first in my head it was going to be more so about like expectations in a relationship, and then it went into like, okay, if we're fighting for equal, what does equal mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I was saying when I was younger and our parents, their model that they were kind of breaking away was that the woman was more so the one that stays home.
Right.
raises the kids, and then the man was the one who earns money, makes money.
Yes.
Mike says there's a party at your place with your background. So, question for you: when you were growing up, you know, even if it was something your parents taught you, or it was something you kind of thought about for yourself, did you want also that ideal, like that you would be working and that your counterpart, your wife, would be not working, staying at home?
When I
Or
was
did,
when I was in school.
well, if it changed at all growing up?
y- yes.
So you used to think that you'd be the one working all the time, and your wife wouldn't have to.
Not that. Yeah. I guess so. I thought I was um under the impression that it was very divided. Like I would be doing the the breadwinner or whatever role, and then the wife would be like the mother and taking care of kids and the housework and all that stuff. But that changed. Like
When?
that didn't last long.
How old were you? Do you remember roughly when you started to think, hey, I don't have to be the only one? High school?
Probably. Yeah, I would say maybe high school or like near the end of high school, going into Waterloo. That's when
Okay.
it kind of changed.
So is that also because like you were starting to have relationships?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's also because what I started to see around me too, like with my friends' parents and
Okay, yeah.
whatnot. Yeah.
That they were both working, earning
Yeah.
money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that okay? Do you
And it
think that's
wasn't just the mom that was like doing the cooking and all that stuff. That I didn't see the traditional like parents.
yeah.
It was harder to find the traditional parents than to yeah.
Dan says and then cola. And then COLA. Does that make sense?
I don't know what that means.
Okay. Sorry, Dan, I don't know what that means either. Um so cost of living adjustment.
Oh,
Is it?
yeah,
Yeah. Okay. So
I guess so.
do you think Korean heritage, Korean like kind of old school Korea, it
Mm.
was like that too? Men working,
Oh yeah,
women.
yeah, for sure.
Did they hold on to that still? Like do you think it's still held on pretty strongly there, or are they pretty forward now with like they're pretty
Mm,
modernized?
I would say it depends on the parents. If the parents still have that kind of traditional mindset, then and they have like a son or a daughter, and they get married, they kind of expect their daughter to like take care of all the house stuff.
Okay.
But if it's not that, then I think like Dan said, it's kind of hard to really pay for anything with one sort of income
Yeah.
unless you're the top whatever,
Yeah.
25% or whatnot.
If you're top tier.
So
Okay.
it's kind of assumed that they're both, they both should be working.
So would you say the modern times now where, you know, the split between a new relationship, guy and a girl,
Yeah.
um, did you ever think in your head it was going to be 50-50? And have you ever adopted 50-50? Is that an ideal? Is that or is that like,
I think for me it
uh,
depends. It depends if the girl wants to
wants,
work. Yeah.
wants it? Okay. What if she
Yeah.
doesn't?
Then it depends on what she wants to do, right? Like if she wants to just be a stay-at-home mom, like if that's
Mm-hmm.
her goal, and well,
That's it.
Michaela to watch. Just kidding.
Well, she's doing fine. You know, she
Yeah,
wants
I
to
know,
work.
but I think if that's her goal in life, then I would probably be against it. You know, I
It
don't
wouldn't work for
believe.
your model. Like you don't think
No,
you'd.
it's just I don't think it's a good enough goal.
Okay.
Like it doesn't you don't have to be working, but you should have some type of objective
Like a
in life.
professional
It's
objective?
It could be, or it could
Well, what
be
if the
a
objective
hobby,
is
or like
a
it could
mother?
be. Yeah, but then like, what do you do when that's only like
When the kids are
what, two
kids?
decades? Yeah, it's like after
Yeah,
18 they're gonna move out, and then what? What are you gonna do with your life after that? I just, not to knock on all the traditional mothers out there. Like, not saying that, I'm
that's
just
fair.
saying in recent, from what I've noticed anyway, from around my friends and stuff, it's like, I mean, yeah, it's nice to be stay-at-home mom, but once they move out, like, you're bored out of your mind, and you don't really have much to do. And then at that point, it's already too late to, I think, pick up a hobby or whatever, or like something that you would actually enjoy doing with your everyday thing. It's just
Yeah.
like, I'm not saying that that's not important. I am. It's just, I think it's equally important to have something that you actually enjoy doing yourself, regardless if that makes, if that has a financial contribution to your family or not.
Okay.
Like, if you could be, I don't know, you could paint or like play tennis. I don't know, anything, something to just, like, instead of just like,
Paint or
what do you
tennis.
do? I'm a mom. And then it's like, oh, that's, that's
Yeah.
nice. It's just, this again, this is just my
Okay.
my point of view.
Here's not to argue this, but it's not even like a devil's advocate type of thing. But let's just say the job of being a housekeeper, or a job of being a cleaner, or
Yeah.
a
What's up, Warren?
nanny, because it is a job. What's up, Warren?
Right.
So, and people do that like professionally, and
Right.
they can do that as a career. So
Yes.
if a woman understands, and yeah, it's something a kind of understood between the husband and the wife, that the woman would raise the children, and maybe, yeah, educate the children, spend more time with the children at home, cook, clean, housekeep, laundry, all that stuff. So the man would just focus on the work and income, like financial
Mm,
income, come
mm,
home and never have to change a diaper, never have to
mm,
clean up after the kids, never have
mm.
to, like as we see on TV, like even growing up, it was just the man of the house was always reading the newspaper, always grumpy, and then if the
Drinking beer.
right, and the kids are always like, if they get unruly, he just
Yeah.
kind of yells very short,
Yeah.
and like everyone listens because everyone's afraid of him. But the mom is always
Hmm.
the nurturing, caring one, right?
Right.
That is that
Right.
that story. Or we're talking about like, if that model that we just described, is that still something that can still fairly exist now in today's world? Or has society really fully adopted now that we're trying to make sure that, child raising is also equal, income should also be equal, cooking at home, cleaning at home, all this stuff should be all 50-50? Is the 50-50 ideal actually like doable now? Does that really make sense now?
I don't think there's a should to anything these days. In all honesty, my understanding of when it comes to things of that sort, when it, like husband and wife kind of stuff, it's never 50-50. It has to be, I don't want to say should. I imagine it works better when everyone is 100-100. Like it's not just half effort. Like you
Oh,
don't just half effort. Like,
That's a
dude, this
good
is
one.
this is coming from Abba and Preet. Like legit, 100-100 makes sense. Cause like you don't just like, this is your role, this is my role. Look, if you got to get something done, you got to get something done. If it just so happens that every morning that the wife is making you coffee and she just happens to, that just happens every
that's
morning. That's just the
yeah,
habit. It
yeah,
it, it happens. It is what it is.
yeah.
And
It
then
doesn't
if it
that
just
he
so
has to
happens that,
make, yeah,
yeah,
he doesn't
it
have
just
to
so
make
happens
fifty
that,
percent of the coffees.
no, it's not like that, because it's that's the whole give and take thing, right? Like, um, it's not like you have a role. It's just, hey, I'm accustomed to making this coffee for you. This is my thing. I'm gonna make you the coffee when you need it. And then for him, maybe he's the one who makes a sandwich every so often. It's like, hey, I made you one just in case. It's like, oh, okay, well, that's 100-100. Even when it comes to like baby diapers, or when it comes to like any kind of role, responsibility, chore, I imagine it's just things work better when it's 100-100, because like at that point there's no expectation. The only expectation is things get done.
Getting things
Mm.
That
done is the
whole
most efficient way. Yeah, it's
yeah,
basically like checking off a box. Like there's a task that needs to be done, you check off the box, right?
it's not attached to any specific individual or anyone's name. It's just it has to get
Yeah.
done.
It just
You
has
it
to
done.
get done. And
Now,
in
when
the
you were
most
talking
efficient
about
way.
that scenario of like, could that still be something that happens? I think it can
That
be.
nuclear family thing, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's something that can happen, whether it should or
Mhm.
shouldn't. I think every relationship just ends up being the way they happen to be. Like, there's no governing this should be your typical relationship. Like, if it happens to be that way, it is what it is. In some cases, it sucks, and in some cases, maybe like maybe there's like a submissive woman that enjoys that kind of vibe, or maybe there's a a dominant male that likes that kind of vibe and rather it be like that.
This
So
alpha, more of like that alpha role, adopting the alpha role, and then the other who might be more willing to, yeah, I guess submit to the alpha role, right?
yeah, so I like with oh jeez, because it's hard to make any generalizations. Like anyone could have any kind of preference these days, where it's like I imagine there are more people open to any kind of way of living. You know what I mean? Like there
Mm.
isn't a should or shouldn't anymore. Now that we
Okay.
have access to like social media, it's hard to portray any kind of generalization of what's correct.
Okay.
Back in the day, you think of like there was only so much you could see on TV and there's only so much you could see on papers that it was very easy to just succumb to, hey, this seems to be the norm. I'm just gonna do what they're doing in the papers. But like nowadays, you have so many outlets. Like,
Okay.
I'm out.
That's fair. That's fair. No, I like that. So that
100,
that's,
100.
That's when we get to though when it's already been established as a partnership, like when you've already established you're in it for the long haul. Okay, so I know you know where this is going. So like bringing it back to more of like now the dating scene, like when you're just getting to know somebody, and you're just starting to date. What do you think now in terms of where society is on like, who should be the one asking or who should be the one paying for the date? And is this 50-50 split of the bill? These splits make a lot more sense financially, like monetarily. Like I remember, I'm just going to say it too, growing up, when I was starting to have relationships and we were starting to go out and spend money that we didn't really have a lot of as kids. We didn't have jobs really that earned yet. So, going out to a movie or you're going out to maybe just get pizza or whatever. It's like, so yeah, the payment part. And I know it was my mom really was like, you should split everything. You should split. And I think she meant, I don't think maybe she was trying to teach me some kind of like standard that I was supposed to know in my life. I think she just was trying to look out for me, make sure I don't spend all my money.
Is this for people that you are in a relationship with,
or like
people you
even
are
just
dating?
Well, you're developing one, like
okay.
you might not even, well, you like someone. As kids, when you have a crush on someone, you kind of just want to go out with them. Like it's not like we were thinking then. Well, of course,
No,
yes, then we were thinking, yo, this could be my wifey, like whatever, like, but in the long run, we never really see that far in the future.
Mm-hmm.
So did you have this expectation? Well, like, yeah. Did you think that it would, how we are with our friends too? It's like, I'll spot you this time. You just get me next time. Even that kind of scenario was like, yeah, that was kind of like, it was easy to adopt that kind of understanding. Maybe if you took out a girl and you treated her this time, next time you guys went out, maybe she'd treat you for that time. It was never really like discussed, but it was more like the gesture. It's like, yeah, I'll do this one. You got this one or whatever. But eventually, this 50-50 thing. See, that's this 100-100 thing. You can't do 100-100 thing in terms of like this cost, like this financial cost.
It's true.
Warren, do you have like thoughts?
Yeah. After last time I came on this and got roasted for the 8-year single thing, I'm like, I don't want to talk about dating.
No, but you.
FML.
Okay.
I'm like, I'm not about to talk about my single life, and I don't even know what dating means these days because I haven't even been on a date for. I don't even know.
But it's a lot easier for you now to see. I didn't have a lot of money as a student, but I did have crushes and stuff. And I had to argue with my parents about like even pursuing relationships at that age. And they want me to focus on school and all that stuff. Yeah, they didn't want me to have like relationships. When I was in elementary, they're like not till high school. When I was in high school, they're like not till university. And then when I was in university, they're like, not till you're graduated. So it was like, and then once you graduated, not till you have a job. It's like, because they want you to be able to make
So
sure
it's
that you
very-
can take care of yourself. Like, and I get it now. You know, it's not that it was, they were really just trying to be restrictive. They were just trying to protect me. They're just trying to
So,
make sure I don't lose
out
all
of
my.
curiosity,
Yeah.
were your parents exactly that way, where they didn't meet anybody until after
They-
school and
I think they
careers?
met at the end of university,
Oh,
and
wow.
they didn't.
Okay.
It wasn't long for them until they got married. Yeah,
Okay,
not a
Alright.
lot of relationships back then, like in the Philippines.
gotcha.
One and done. I'm just kidding.
So yeah, that's like 16 in the fills.
I'm
Oh,
I'm the
yeah.
generous type. I'm one for chivalry, and I'll pay whenever I can. Otherwise, every so often, if I need to be like, yo, can you spot me this time? Can you catch this one? I'ma ask. Like I would
But
probably
you'll never
be the
need
type.
that.
So
You'll
question,
never need
why
that,
is that
though.
chivalry?
I don't know. I don't know who defined it as that way, but that's the way I saw it. I'm like,
Why
all
is
right,
chivalry only one way? Why can't a woman be chivalrous?
good one. Got nothing on that one. That's just. I thought that was kind of the customs back in the day, and it's one of those things
It
I carried
was
through. And I
back
do.
in the day,
I don't
yeah.
know. It doesn't have to be that way.
Like a knight in shining armor was the chivalry, right?
Here's my thing. Am I being a nice person? Is this something that I would want? Is this like on my moral compass? Is this the right thing to do?
Like
If I'm going to pay for
16.
somebody, I have nothing. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm treating someone to dinner. Is that so bad?
Yeah.
I'm lucky that I can do that.
But if it's your first time, like ever,
But here's the thing: you
That's
like
okay,
being able to be given the choice to do that. But what if it was expected of you? That's automatic turnoff, right? Like it's like, what? You expect me to do this for you, and you start to look at them differently. Do you? I don't know.
I don't know. I'd have to be faced with that, like in person, to see how I'd actually react. If they expected it, it's kind of like, oh, we had the same mindset. I expected to pay anyway.
I think
It's
for
like,
me,
oh, great.
Yeah,
I
we were
think-
both in the same wavelength.
I think for me it depends on the age.
Meaning,
Like if
You mean
the
age,
other
or do you mean
person-
age in life? Because that's different.
Okay, well,
so if
what I
if
meant
you
to say was like
Hmm.
if the other person is fully capable of, being
Supporting
independent,
himself.
yeah, but they still expect that from the opposite just because they're a guy
of this
then-
role, yeah, this
yeah,
like sex role,
then-
okay.
then it's like, okay, see ya. But if that's not the case and there's like a big age gap between the two or whatever, then it's okay, I think. Then it's I think it's something you can call nice. But when it's like when they have a job, when they have bills that they pay, but just because it's like, the guy thing to do, then it's like, okay, well, now we're like not on the equal,
Yeah.
mindset kind of deal. And I mean, like you said, some people prefer that, and there are people who want that kind of, person. So that's cool. It's their thing, but it's just I don't think it's fair to just automatically assume that or expect that from the other person.
I see.
Yeah.
In that situation, like that makes sense. I would be more open to the conversation. I would still pay, but I'd be more curious as to why they think that way, where the guy has to do it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't really come across a whole lot of girls that have like said
That just
or
expect that.
have that. Yeah, they don't have that mentality, but like I imagine it's out there, and I'd be more curious to dive in and be like, why do you think that?
Well, straight up, when girls are like even advertising that they're looking for sugar daddies,
Well,
is
then
that
those
just
are
like
the ones that
it's like, well,
you
no,
stay away from.
not interested in those, right?
Definitely stay away from that. They just want money. That's different. At least with the
Okay.
person that you just went on a date on, they have the intent of wanting a relationship at some point.
Yeah.
Okay, so
And even if that's the case, like even if you were like if that's the case, then I think it's fully acceptable for me to be like, okay, that's fine, but once you get to a certain age, I'm just gonna find somebody else. I think that's a
Right.
totally fair
Right.
like.
Because expectations come in, like it's like what you
Right.
are actually looking for. Is
Exactly.
it just for the present or for long run?
Mm-hmm.
So if let's just go into the scenario of long run, and now we're looking at, I guess, the male's expectation of a woman and a woman's expectation of a man. I think just open communication in all fronts makes it the easiest, so you can understand kind of what the other person's kind of expecting from you. But let's take, for example, you're both working. You're both, good, decent people, and you understand, like, you're trying to be fair. Maybe you don't have numbers in your head 50-50. You're more of a 100-100 type of mentality. But one of you makes more money. One of you makes, let's say, twice as much as the other.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think is like a reasonable way to manage that kind of relationship? Should costs be in that ratio? Like if you're going to buy a house, should one person cover 2/3 over 1/3 of the other? Or, you know what I'm trying to say?
Okay.
Costs. That could be open to either of you if you want to say something.
So the one example I do have in mind is I do have a friend where it's like when it comes to money, they do have roles. So one person usually will pay for the groceries. Another person covers, mortgage,
Yeah.
covers like expenses having to do with the car. Like they have it set out so
It's
that they
divided.
both cover certain aspects. Now with the breadwinner, that person does cover a little more, only because they're capable of it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if that's established and that communication was there, I think that's a great way to go.
Yeah.
I don't see anything
it
wrong
seems
with
fair,
that.
right? Because income kind of, it's huge. It's like a huge deciding factor on who is able to cover costs more. But in this scenario, you said it was divided in categories. Obviously, mortgage and probably cost of car is going to cost more than groceries unless you have 10 kids or something. But does that make more sense, you think, than division of costs in terms of income ratio? Like you all get groceries, but it's just because you make more, then you pay more for the groceries. When you all go out for a bill, then you just pay more for that bill, but there's always like a divvy. I guess it's easier to do categories. Categories might just make more sense.
I think categories make sense as long as you're both down for it. Again, I think it just comes down to comfort levels of the people in the relationship, and then on top of what they're willing to cover. I think that's a great way to do it because then it's sharing, and then kind of like you've established kind of that role as it is, where it's like not based on sex, not based on you're a guy, you should do this, you're the girl, you should do this.
Yeah.
It's purely just on this is what I'm comfortable with paying. Can you cover the rest, or can you cover something else? Like it just makes sense.
Say the way you said that, so there's no expectation of you're a guy, you should do this, you're a girl, you should do this. Should that no longer exist at all? Like, is that still more of a case-by-case basis of like the dynamic of relationships? Sometimes the women are the alpha. Sometimes men aren't the alpha. But is there still a norm that people seek,
That case is pretty rare though, I think, where the girl is the alpha.
Rare in like normal people, not like celebrities or athletes or whatever.
Yeah.
When you say alpha, do you mean breadwinner or alpha?
Both.
No, well, now, okay, yeah, you could look at it in the same of both, but you could treat them differently too. Because more often, I think, because of maybe the way we were raised, or like just like the nuclear family model that we grew up with learning, the man was the one with the pants. They even say who wears the pants, and the pants is generally what men wear. But it's like sometimes relationships where the woman wears the pants. The woman makes the decisions.
Yeah.
The woman is the one who bosses the guy around, and the guy's like, I'm cool, man. As long as she's happy, I'm happy. That thing. Happy wife, happy life. Is that like...
I say that, but I don't think they're really happy. I say that out there.
I've heard this.
If you want, but
I've heard this. Like it's like no matter what you say of this thing, it's almost like it's still innate. Like a man wants to be the control, the one in control.
I think it's
Ultimate
the
control.
opposite of that, actually.
Oh, you think women want to be in control?
No, they don't want to be.
Sorry, who doesn't want to be in control?
The woman.
The woman doesn't want to be in control.
Yeah.
So I don't think you can make a generalization.
I've heard
like
this
that.
too. I've heard this too.
I'm saying in general, like that's what I see, and that's what I believe.
What you've experienced, yeah.
Because like you can say that, you know, oh, like there are people out there who prefer not to be like who are guys who prefer not to lead and they just want to be controlled. Long run, I don't think that lasts. I don't think that
Because you
works.
think the woman wants a man who makes the calls.
Yeah, they're just
It's
gonna
like-
find somebody else who can do that for them. That
Here's
just
a-
means the guy that they're with right now can't do that, but they don't have anybody else to be with, so they're just stuck with that person.
So here's a comical example. Okay, like choosing where to go to eat. You know, like
That-
girl is hungry. And here it's a comical example. Let's just entertain it for now. It's
Yeah.
like both of you guys are hungry. You want to go out to eat. Sometimes you see this example. It's funny. It's like it's kind of funny in media where the guy's like, "Where do you want to go?" and the girl can't decide. So the guy starts offering all these ideas, but the girl says no to all of them. Does that actually ever happen? Do you think?
Yes, that happens all the time, and that means they want you to pick the place that they're thinking of.
Okay, so they do want their choice, but they want you to pick it. So wait,
Yeah.
you've experienced this.
Oh yeah,
Versus
Same.
just
Same.
a man making a call like, I want to go here, and then the woman be like, well, okay, because you're paying anyway. It's like, okay, just accepts.
Mhm.
Because there, I see that too. I mean, yeah, it's not the same example every time. So yeah, what do you think? Is it really
what I
like
usually
this?
do is I ask them, where do you think we're going, and then that's the place I go. It's easiest that way.
Where do you think? Oh, like you've decided.
Yeah,
So then they make a guess,
yeah.
and then you're like,
that's where you go.
"Yep, that's where we're going." Because usually it's the one they want to guess.
Mhm.
Interesting. When did you learn this trick?
Works
Well played.
every time.
Well played.
I'll try that one.
I don't know, man. Just generalizations like that is so tough because, like, you can say it's been
Is it
like that in
though?
all.
Is it? Is it?
I think so. Like, it's so you can
Like,
a
you see it
generalization.
everywhere,
I'm
though.
trying to think about all the relationships that I've come
When I
across.
say in general, I literally just mean in general.
I
I'm not
guess.
saying
Yeah,
that
yeah.
there's no
It's like that all of
possibility
them,
of that
yeah.
not
Yeah, yeah.
happening. I'm
Yeah,
saying 90% of the time. That's what I mean by in general.
No, it makes sense. It's I get afraid of generalizations because so often they can be misconstrued for that's what he's thinking about girls all the time.
Hmm.
That's all. I hate
Yeah,
speaking in
I
generalizations.
don't like when people generalize and maybe don't have any full statistics, but they'll say most. You know,
Mm.
And it's all
most
based on
women
their own
think this way.
experience.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah,
based off
yeah.
their own model, and
Mhm.
because they think it's like what they're experiencing more, that's going to be statistically most. But
Mhm.
eh,
They're drawing
hard.
from their own sample size of what they've seen and personally experienced. Whereas, you know, how do you really put a study to this?
Yeah.
And then when it comes to things like the whole where do you want to eat, like it does happen. It has happened.
yeah,
I don't want to say it doesn't either. It's like, yeah, I've been there.
I've straight up I've had relationships where if I be like, you know, wherever you want to go, it's almost like, okay, it gives them that power, but they're like, I hate when you say that. It's like,
Yeah.
where is your like input? Why aren't
Because
you
that
want to be
means-
part of this
That
decision?
means
Like,
you don't care, apparently.
yes, giving someone ultimate option shows that you don't care. And this was a thing I've experienced in the past too. You guys went through that too? Ever?
Mhm. Yep.
Okay.
8
you got-
years ago.
So you got to so wait.
Hmm.
Okay. may I ask direct like example? So you're saying the last 8 years you've just not taken a girl out?
I've been on a few dates and just never turned into a relationship.
Okay, but those are dates. Those are still dates.
Yeah.
Okay. And
I've been single for 8 years. I haven't
yeah.
like
Were any of
twisted
those
anything.
dates like more than one date?
Honestly, no.
Okay. Okay. Did you pay for every date?
Yes.
And that was like in your head, you're like, you're cool with that every time,
Yeah, I'm chill.
each one of those times. Okay.
Yeah. Not
Did
a big deal.
any of them ever fight for it?
Yep.
And how'd that go? Like, what happens?
Oh.
Just like,
nothing.
no.
I beat you to it. It is what it is. You got
Yeah.
You're too slow.
Just like fighting for a bill. Okay. Okay.
No, well, that's what happens. You're too slow.
Yeah, this Okay, so at the beginning of the pod, you guys weren't here yet. I was talking about like the fight for this equality. Okay. And I think I wanted to go over the fact that equality maybe in terms of rights in the world, or maybe equal pay for the same equal type of job, it doesn't mean that we're trying to think that men and women are the same. Would you agree to that?
It doesn't mean that we think they're the same.
Like, equality doesn't mean men and women are the same.
Right?
Yes, true, false? Even though when you think the word equals means the same. But in this scenario, it's not. When you try to make things equal for men and women, it still understands that they are not the same. Is that true? Is that false? Thoughts?
Oh, I thought it meant they were like. I thought it meant equal. Because it said the word.
Like in every sense of equal value, Kyle says, of equal value.
Of equal value. Well, yeah, exactly. Like, you can't. I think it's funny that. Okay, not funny. I think it's just weird that some people argue about, like the difference in pay, difference in how like it's like how you're perceived in certain situations, but at the same time you still want to keep all of the benefits that comes with being a woman or a guy. I think that's kind of offsetting in a way. Like, I don't think you can complain about how you get paid less than men, but at the same time get angry when a guy doesn't open the door for you. Like, it's just
Okay, the standard thing. Standard
Yeah.
expectations.
like you can't have it both ways. I don't think, if you're actually talking about the actual like full 100% equality, then I don't think it works both ways, if that makes sense.
Then should women be running in front of the guy to try and open the door?
No, it's not even that. It's like like, I'm just trying to think of like a case where you want equality, but you also want to keep all of the benefits of being considered inferior than men. That's what.
When okay, yeah. Women who carry the double standard. Yes, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Okay, what I'm trying to say, chivalry is a great example for one, though, because that is only associated with men. I've never heard of that word ever be used for the woman. But if you want to use equal in this sense, then why wouldn't a woman ever fight for chivalry too, to be part of that, like as part of a gesture that they can do to be nice to a man? Like, if a guy wants to show that he's a gentleman, he'll pull a chair out, he'll open the door, he'll carry the bags or whatever, take on the weight, because it's a physical thing. It's physical gestures. But can a woman do that and get the same amount of appreciation? Should a woman be able to get the same amount of appreciation for doing things like that?
guess so. They could, yeah.
I mean, they could.
Yeah.
I haven't
But-
seen it.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
I've
Joke.
seen it.
No.
Oh,
Jokingly, I've had other girls kind of like run for the door. Like
Yeah.
one case. It's funsy stuff. It's not really like
Oh, right. Okay,
just
I see
a
what you mean.
friend that was gonna go hold the door open for me. That's all.
But I mean, I'm looking at this. Let's say a girl has her purse, and a guy's carrying all the bags and has a lot more weight in his arms. In that scenario, you would think it's super cool and appreciated if that girl decides to open the door for the guy who's carrying all the stuff, because he
I
needs.
thought you were gonna say the girl's gonna give the purse to the guy.
No. Like, I'm just saying, like, whoever's bearing more weight in that sense, the person who's carrying less should be the one opening the door. Just kind of, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not talking about like this posh kind of a standard where you see like regardless if this posh woman has like her Gucci and her Dolce and all that stuff and walks up into a mall, expects any kind of like server or whatever to open the door for her and all that stuff. Relationships, you see that too. I'm just saying in our relationships, like in ours, if and when we have our own relationships, it's just courtesy, this equal level of courtesy expectation. Do you think it's right for a man to have expectations from a woman in a relationship and for a woman to have expectations of a man in a relationship? Is it okay?
What kind of expectations?
Well, that was going to be my next question. What do you think are the only things you can expect from a partner in a relationship? I can give you an example.
Or how
Okay.
about you give us your thoughts?
Yeah, I was like, what?
Well,
There's
I
so many
don't
things.
want
comes
to.
to
There's so many things.
I didn't want to like steer it. I'd give you an example, but I didn't want to like write the narrative or before you guys gave your like unbiased thoughts on it. You know, that's why I ask first.
Okay.
But an example would be loyalty. If you are in a relationship, you would expect that your partner won't cheat on you. You can expect that of them.
Right.
But you can't expect that the guy will always pay. That is not a fair expectation. Right?
Right.
So loyalty is one, I think. Loyalty, commitment, you know.
Those things I think would be like the intangible stuff, like loyalty or like other.
Yeah, trust is another one that you trust. Honesty, complete honesty. It's all of it with loyalty. Like, I would expect that you would always be honest with me. Don't hide things from me, whatever.
Right.
But like, that's it, right? Basically, you know, not even like conduct, nothing to do with like how you carry yourself or like.
I think
Okay.
expectations are fine. In the end, the couple has to communicate what works for them. True.
Expectations are fine. So they do exist, though. That's what you're saying, and I agree that they exist in people's heads. It's not though, but it's not like what I'm trying to say. We probably have an idea where like if we're going out somewhere and it's like a fancy occasion, then we would expect the other to dress more accordingly. I'm just coming up with an example,
Okay.
right? Like that they care about the way they look to a certain
Right.
degree. To a certain degree. So maybe some don't care as much. So I think in what Dan's trying to say, you communicate that and then you kind of see, okay, would you be willing to? Because just expecting the person who doesn't really care about the way they look to all of a sudden do that out of the other person's expectation without communicating it, you're probably going to be disappointed. Because if you don't talk about that with your partner, they're not going to know, and then they're not going to do what you expected of them. I think that's what Dan's trying to say.
I don't think anyone like doesn't care about how they look.
Anyone?
Like, from beginning to end. I think
Beginning
in
to
the
end.
beginning you always care because you want to look nice for the other person. It's just after, some time, that's when you start to get comfortable and you lose you put more weight into the importance of other things other than like what you wear out to eat and stuff. but in the beginning, so I think it's not that they don't care. It's just that they've shifted their focus on other things. So if that's the case, then I think it's okay as long as you both are the same. If it's just one person still caring about how they look, I don't know if that like works out.
Okay.
You know.
In the example that I had in my head, I think what also matters is like the degree of attention to it, like the level of attention to it. So like someone might have a lower standard of what looking nice means. The other
Right.
might have a higher standard of it. So it's like dress clothes versus just casual wear. Maybe they think the casual wear was good enough, but the other person's like, nah, like how could you possibly think that was good enough? You know, so
track pants to outing with me.
that was actually the example that I had in my head where it was a formal dinner and it was discussed that they were gonna go out to a formal event, and then the dude decided to wear a t-shirt, track pants, and flip flops and a baseball
Well, that
cap.
guy clearly didn't get the memo. Then that's not good.
Well, that's the thing. Was there enough communication there? Like, you just said we're gonna go out, we're dressed nice, we're gonna like whatever. But if it wasn't further discussed, maybe the communication was on the lacking end there. Maybe if the one the girl not maybe expected, but like wanted a certain standard to be met, she should have communicated that. Maybe.
Well, I mean, if you know that you're going to a nice place, then
You're saying it's
Isn't
common
it-
sense,
it's-
right? It should be
yeah.
common sense. Yeah, that's what
Like,
I thought
just-
too.
You can't show up in a track pants and be like, well, you didn't tell me to wear nice stuff to this nice
like,
restaurant. Like, that's
This is
stupid.
my
You
nice
can't.
track pants. These
That's-
are like
no,
$30.
No, that's completely 100% guy's fault.
Okay.
That's
No, I mean,
silly.
I agree with you, but I've never thought about it in the other sense where maybe his standard was just not as high. Maybe it was something else. I don't know.
It's like you telling the girl that we're going to go to a theme park and then she decides to wear heels. Like, why?
Right. Well, she wants to look
It's
good.
silly.
She doesn't want to be short. She wants to be tall enough to hit the roller coasters.
Going back to the question of like expectations, I think it's fine to have expectations.
Okay.
Again, I think who was it that said in the chat? As long as it's communicated,
That's
Dan.
Dan.
I think it's something that kind of like I don't think you just come off strong with your expectations at the beginning. I think at some point, expectations I think they're normal to have. I think it's normal for people to have expectations before entering in anything, like any kind of relationship. I think it's healthy to just at least communicate it rather than like it's worse to have somebody have these expectations, never tell them about it, and you're always like that person's always pissed off because they had no idea about them, right?
Yeah.
They never meet those expectations because they were never communicated before. So I think it's fine to do that as long as it's communicated.
And so, like, it seems easy when we're thinking expectations are in the tangible sense. And you said the ones that exist where it's like reasonable to actually expect them, like honesty, commitment, trust, and all that stuff. Those are intangible, right?
Yeah.
Here's another question. Now you're in an argument. Expectations during an argument where one might not be as confrontational. Maybe one might need space or to back off. They don't want to talk right away. But the other person wants immediate communication and immediate attention and care and patience and stuff like that. Those levels of expectations now don't match, but they're not necessarily unreasonable on either side. It's just the type of person that they are.
Right. And the way they approach conflict. Right?
Yeah. Unlike conflict resolution. Sorry, Mike just said you can have whatever expectations you want, but if you have a lot, for example, that might affect how many people you are compatible with. Yeah.
True.
Does that mean, though, this compatibility thing, if you are in a relationship with someone who's a good person, but they're not compatible with you, like what's the level of...
I think for me that's a false statement. If someone's not compatible with me, they're not a good person.
They're not a good person. So wait.
Straight up.
No,
That's just me.
Wait, like a good person, I
You
mean like
can't.
someone who's like kind and fair and like honest,
If
but
you're
you may
if you're
not necessarily be compatible with
DayDay
you.
the Sith dealing in absolutes. Yeah, exactly. I don't if you're not compatible, then the reason is because you're not a good person. That's why you're not compatible with me.
A good person, like
Yeah.
morally.
Yeah, there's got to be something that's not good for me to say you're not compatible. So I don't believe that.
We're talking still in partners, like in like
Yeah.
a good
So
person, not good for you, but a good person. That's what I mean. They
to
may
me,
not be
they're the
good
same
for
thing.
you.
To me, they're the same thing.
Okay, I'm just trying to understand the absolute there.
Let me repeat that. if they if they are not compatible with me, then they are not good person.
Okay, they're a bad
And
person.
well, they can be bad, or they can be other stuff. They're just not good. Just
Okay.
I mean, define good.
Yeah,
Like,
don't you have
oh
friends who
boy.
are female
but
who
they're
are
still
not
good people.
compatible with you, but they're good people? You don't
No,
have female
I don't.
friends?
I don't have any female friends that are not like it's just no, doesn't work. I don't believe that guy and girl can be friends too. Like it's
Okay,
just
so
a thing.
that kind of makes
Oh,
that kind of
wow.
makes that kind of
I
makes sense
am,
now.
I am there. I am
There
the
you go.
dude.
I've
I am
opened
the guy
the
that's
can of
friends with
worms.
everyone.
For me, it depends. If I'm in
Is
a
that platonic
relationship,
too,
if it,
or sorry,
if
I'll go back to after.
sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, DayDay. No.
Oh, it for me, it's very black and white. If I'm in a relationship, then I don't I don't spend time reaching out to my female friends. It's cut off for me, and I don't expect the partner to do that, but that's just the way that I work. When and it's the opposite. If I am single, then it's all then it's the opposite. I just they're just like everyone can be my friends. You know what I mean? Like it's to
So
me
as soon as you're in a relationship, there is no way you can have a female friend who is not your partner.
when I say friends, I mean someone like who I can like talk about like my personal stuff or like my something that's um something deep, I guess, about me, or like just something like that. Yeah, you can hang out, whatever, but it's not like I wouldn't really like if they're there, they're there, you know? Like I don't go up and like, hey, you want to hang out, whatever, when I have my girlfriend
Yes.
that I can hang out with.
Okay. But
So
guys, it's cool.
what do you mean?
But you can reach out to guys and be like,
Yeah,
hey,
yeah, guys
you
are
want to
fine.
hang out?
Yeah.
Is that because of like this whole like honor thing with your girl? Is that where it's coming from? Like to be honorable to your girl?
No, it's just I think that's I think that's the way it should be. Just because to me, um girls are different. I think girls can have guy friends or whatever, but to me, when a guy has female friends, um, there's always a possibility of that developing into more things, especially when alcohol is involved. So I don't believe that's like I just like there's no reason for me to even keep that option open. Not to say that all female friends are like that, but like I'm just to in going back to this word that Warren doesn't like. In general, I think guys are friends with girls. There's at, at least like 10 to 20% interest in
Okay.
non-friends way, like in attractiveness, for that even to be considered okay, you're a friend of mine. Like, it's
You mean that there's never zero potential. There's always like
yeah, yeah,
potential, but you don't think
yeah.
that happens the other way. A woman can be completely platonic with a man.
They can. Women can. Guys can't.
And is this based on your experiences? Like,
Well, that too, and other people that I've like most of the people that I've seen. It's just
okay, what are your thoughts?
Oh, I I might. I don't know. I'm the dude that's friends with everyone though. Like I'm like everything
Out.
you say can't exist. I
Okay,
am the
so
guy that's like I'll hang out with a bunch of girls and there isn't any kind of attraction.
right, never even a
Yeah.
consideration, or maybe not even like that's what I mean by is it completely platonic, or is in your mind is there like a 1% maybe she's kind of cute? Is that what we're talking about? Like even that 1% is why it shouldn't happen.
Yeah, for me, that's why I cut it off, because there's no need to keep that option off. If I wanted that, then I should be single.
Oh well, yeah, that's not the need for the 1%, but the fact that it just exists. There was no need for it because you have a girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
But even just like the opinion of a female, you would just trust that your girlfriend would have that opinion that you need to know.
Yeah.
In a certain matter. Okay. Mike says guys can't or just DayDay can't.
You can say that, but honestly, like, if talk to anyone, like any guys who have friends
Female
that are
friends,
girls,
like
and then if
me
they
and
all of a
more.
sudden were to drunk text you or just tell you to come over or whatever, you tell me that they're not gonna go. Like, it's really like
When you're single or when you're with?
when you're single.
When you're single.
Yeah.
Like any
Especially
girl? Any
if
girl?
no, well, obviously not any girl, but I mean somebody that like you are
Who's a
close
friend?
friends with, you're best friends with, quote unquote. You know,
I
doesn't
can't.
exist.
Okay.
If they need a ride, I'm showing up. If it's anything more than that, then that's it. Nothing else happens.
Yeah, because that's what a friend. Yeah, like the responsibility of the friend, the care. But like, yo, want to come over to hook up when you're single? I have friends, close friends, who like I will talk. I'm open though. I'm open, but I cannot see them that way. Where I was like, no, I would not. Even single. Even single, I'd just be like, yeah, no. Is that weird? Is that a rarity? Is that impossible? Am I lying to myself? Is that what you're saying, DayDay?
I wouldn't say you're lying to yourself, but I think there is always that possibility, even if you don't want to admit that.
Oh.
That's just the way I think. I think even if subconsciously, I think it could even exist. You just don't know it until it actually happens. Sure, you can say now because it's it
Because it hasn't happened.
Yeah, but if you were to actually be put in that spot, then
A close
I
friend.
think it would be a different story. Yeah.
A close friend. Only applies to close friends.
I think so. Yeah. Or it could be just, actually, okay. It doesn't have to be just any, like, I guess.
Well, that's the thing, though. What you're saying is when you're with someone,
Yeah.
and you have a girlfriend, you shouldn't and can't have other close or not close girlfriends for this potential. But then you're saying when you're single, you would consider those females.
Yeah.
But it's because you're single that you're considering those females. But when you're in a relationship, you put up that barrier where you choose not, you can't look at them that way, where you just don't because of your relationship. Is attraction not like a switch there? Like, just like, well, no, that's no longer an option. That is no longer potential because I'm in a relationship. Everyone now is same level, platonic. Is that you're saying it's impossible because if they were single, they would. But then again, that's a different scenario. That's not when you're in a relationship.
I just don't see the point of that existing when you are in a relationship.
Even like a long-lasting friendship from like youth.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think they should have. I think if they are, I think they've known you for that long.
Chicks.
I think they've known you that. Okay, that's different. But I mean, like, I think if they've known you for that long, then I think it would make sense for them to give you space. if
Right.
they actually care about you. But if they keep
Well, it's on
doing the
both.
same
Yeah.
thing, if they keep reaching out to you, be like, hey, let's hang out, whatever, bring your girlfriend. I think that's weird. I don't think that's like,
Oh, what if you're
yeah.
both in relationships and it's a couples thing?
If it's a couples thing, then I
Because
guess
does
it's
that
okay.
leave room for like
Yeah,
swingers or
that's okay.
something?
Well, no, that's a completely different topic. I think maybe if they're both in a relationship, then it's okay. But if it's one side who's not, then I don't see the balance.
So if
Wow.
if both are in relationships, you can go out as couples. But if both are in relationships, you can't go out with the other person's partner. Like my
Why would
girlfriend
you
can't.
do that? No.
Right.
No.
You
Yeah.
because there's no you wouldn't trust that. There's like this trust
It's
thing.
not a matter of trust. Like, what's the point of that? Why would
I
you do
don't
that?
know. Really don't know. I don't know. Maybe you're looking for gifts. I don't know.
No,
I
it
really
doesn't
don't.
make sense. I just don't believe that's something that's you can say that it's okay, maybe, okay, I'll give the benefit of the doubt. Maybe there is, that possibility of that existing, but I think it's very slim.
So
Okay.
And
I was gonna say, like, you think of my situation with Nina specifically because she's already married. If I were to go hang out with her, is that weird? One-on-one basis, me and Nina catching up. It's been a while. Alex isn't around, just me and her.
Hmm.
Again,
And
this
there's
is the
drinking.
childhood situation.
And there's
This
drinking
is
involved.
yeah. We opted to go have a drink, have dinner, have a drink. Ray couldn't make it. It was supposed to be a 3-person thing, but now it's just me and Nina. We didn't cancel.
I think you're
I
lying
think
to
I would
yourself,
just
War.
I think if that was me, if I was in that situation, I would just
You wouldn't go.
I wouldn't go. I would go find a date that Ray could join too. Because if that was actually supposed to be the point where it was you, Nina, and Ray, then I would just pick a different day where it works for Ray.
So I think of this situation, more than likely, I wouldn't ever like if it's us three hanging out. Chances are the significant others are coming too anyway. But
Yeah.
even in that situation, if it was just us three and Ray couldn't make it, Ray would be the type to be like, "No, you guys go. It'll be fine."
Yeah.
No, that's fine.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm just saying
Yeah.
that if
If it
even
were
he
you, you
said-
wouldn't go. Yeah.
Even if he said you two go ahead, I'd be like,
Yeah.
no, man, just tell me when, and then that's what I would do.
Well,
But
in this
do you have
scenario
an
too.
opinion
Yeah.
of like being an outsider seeing this happen? Do you have an opinion of that? As in, like, does that change how you think
do
of
you mean?
Nina or myself?
No, that's
Okay.
just how I would,
Yeah.
But you would
approach that situation.
you would scoff at Warren for it.
I wouldn't scoff at that. I would
War.
because I don't know. Well, okay.
The nerve.
He'd be mad at Nina because she's the one that's married.
Yeah, I would.
Shut up.
She should have accepted. Well, it's tough in the.
I think
What
it's
makes
weird,
it even
man. I
harder
just think it's
in
weird.
War's scenario is like the whole timing scheduling thing because he's not around. Like he's not always around. It's
Right.
it's a specific case where your time's limited if you were to go in that scenario. If you still lived in Toronto though, maybe it's a bit different. Is that what you're saying? Okay. What
Nina,
about
if you're
like
listening,
being?
We're never hanging out.
What about what about being friends with your ex?
Oh hell no, hell no, dude. I don't, dude. No way. No. That's a hard like. No. That's
Okay, not close friends, but obviously not to the point where like you're talking every day and opening up with each other every day. But you
you're
would
saying
still
happy
be like,
birthday, then no.
oh, happy birthday.
Oh fuck that. No.
Whoa, interesting.
Oh, heck no. I got better things to do with my time than wishing my exes happy birthday.
Okay, I mean, I get your standard there. I wish everyone on my Facebook list happy birthday.
That's different. That's just because Facebook tells you when it's their birthday. Like, yeah, happy birthday, and that's it. But if you have it in like engraved in your head, or like you have it on your phone, or like something like that, it's just why? Like, just go back to them. Don't
Just go
waste my
back to
time.
them.
Don't waste that. Don't waste my time.
You can't wish people well.
Yeah, I was gonna say
It's
if it's
just
just a
like-
nice thing to do, like it's not. I don't.
That's not
I
a nice
wouldn't
thing
see
to
it
do.
though.
I don't think that's a nice thing to do.
Say happy
don't.
birthday to somebody on their birthday.
On their birthday?
Not just anybody.
Because it's your ex.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't see an issue with that.
I can
You're-
see
you're-
no, I can totally see
Okay.
there's women out there who would really like appreciate what DayDay's saying.
They're
I-
exes for a reason.
I don't know if I agree with it, but
Why keep that rope
Connection?
Like, yeah. There's no need.
so here's
True.
the thing. Have you not had a relationship? Obviously it was romantic, but at the same time you develop a friendship with this person. You probably share experiences and stuff, you go on trips. You develop a friendship while you also develop a relationship, like the romantic relationship. And then the romantic relationship ends. You no longer have feelings for them. You're no longer in love with them anymore. Are you saying you can also not, you've lost now even any inkling of care for them? Just because the romantic stuff is gone?
I don't believe you
Everything
can
is
go
gone?
backwards. You can
No.
go forward.
It's not
but
backwards.
You can't go back. It
not
is
backwards.
backwards because
You just
you've-
cut off
you've-
half?
No. You've gone from friends to like being friends to romantic, right?
Yeah, you can't go
Now
back to
that
friends.
that's over, you can't go back. That's not how it works. You can go forward. You can go from friends to that. That's fine because you're going forward. But once you got to that point, it doesn't make sense for the reverse. Like you can't go back and be like, okay, now we're friends. Now we're just back to just being, someone. who
Well, it's not the
care
same
about you.
degree, I guess.
Yeah,
But
it's like there's.
so
for
any of
me, it
your
doesn't
exes, any of your exes, if I know you don't want to think about them, but now
No,
they're
that's
up
fine.
in this
That's
this example, you're like, you don't even want to wish in your head that they're okay, that they're doing well. You don't even
I
want
don't
to
even
care
have a
about
thought
that.
about that. It's just it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Like it's not worth my. Like I don't want to spend my brain cells
So it's a
thinking or wishing them they're well or bad or what. It's gone. There's nothing there.
no, I know, but even right now, because I just brought them up.
Yeah. Do I
And I'm-
wish them well? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, like in
No,
your
I
head.
don't wish them well.
You because they're like they were bad. They're bad. They're not good. They're not compatible. Therefore, they're bad. Yeah, right. I forgot.
Some were very bad. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I can understand hating those people, hating the people that hurt you and didn't treat you
It's
well.
not.
and-
I guess you can. I don't even know if you can call it hate. It's just I don't care. It's just
Okay, indifference.
yeah.
It'd be indifference. That's a better word.
Okay. Okay. But there are some where. What about the others? The ones that aren't indifferent. There's none. They're all indifferent.
I mean, yeah, you can say like, I wish them happy. I wish them to be well, but like, I personally,
What about like I hope
don't
they're
believe-
happily married with like kids? Can't you say that?
I think that's weird for you to say that about your ex.
Like with
I
my
hope
ex,
they're-
I was like, I hope she's happy with somebody, or I hope she finds someone. Not me, but I hope she finds someone. Like, is that weird?
To me, it is.
Oh.
It might not be for you, but to me, it is.
Hmm.
To me, like if someone says, "Oh, like, I mean, yeah, we were together, but now we're not," but I do wish them well. To me, that sounds BS. To me. That's just the way I would.
Oh, interesting.
that.
Yeah, no, I disagree. I think just because you're broken up, there's still a human being, and in my head, as a human being, I would still, and having had previous connections to them before, I would still want good for them. Like it just seems like the nice thing to do. No different
was
from
just
having a
thinking that.
Facebook friend. Yeah,
Yeah.
just even as like Facebook friends, like anyone there that's on that list, and if I've had interaction with them, I wouldn't wish ill of them, but I would still wish them all well in whatever they're
So-
doing. I would hope for the best for anyone that, not necessarily just on my Facebook friend list, but like anyone I've had any kind of interaction with, even if they've done me wrong. I know the right thing to do is to, the whole turn the other cheek kind of thing, right? I'd be okay with like wishing them well.
Okay, I'm the complete opposite of that.
Yeah.
So
I see that.
for me, as soon as your ex, Facebook gone, phone number gone, pictures gone, gifts gone,
Mhm.
everything's gone. You
Yeah.
are completely out of my life, and I think
Yeah.
that is the right thing to do for the next person.
I've experienced people who've done
I
that to
think-
me, and
I think that's the right thing to do, so that you have the room for the other person to come take. I don't think it's fair for you to keep all the memories and gifts and letters and all that stuff, so that by off chance your next girlfriend ends up finding it and then get into a fight, and they like, why do that? Because it's a nice thing to do. That's not a nice thing to do. That's actually being inconsiderate of the next person.
of the next person.
Yeah.
I get that. Not to say that I'm the type to keep shit from my past relationship, but I'd still, just because there's somebody I've had interaction with, I do wish them well. If I were to use myself as an example, everything of any previous relationship has been gone. Like I'm not the type to keep
Yeah.
stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like
Right.
that.
No, but
that
you-
I agree with. It's
but-
weird to hold on to like a bunch of pictures and a bunch of letters and a bunch of like
Yeah,
anything
but
tangible.
what about
like ugh.
Instagram posts with them? What would you do? Delete them?
Delete.
I'm too lazy to. It's just social media.
Why?
I
mean,
could if somebody wanted me to, I'll do it. Like I don't
So
care.
yeah, if your next girl,
if you're lazy,
wanted
just
you
make a
to-
new account.
That too.
if you're lazy to make an account. So yeah, if the next girl wants and asks and wants that, it should be like an easy yes.
It's not gonna be like I'm gonna resist. Like if that makes you feel better
Yeah.
because I care about you now, I'm gonna do that. That's easy.
If that next person's asking, and then you say, "Well, no, this is my history in my life," and like
That's
my
holding
experience,"
on. Yeah.
That's me, guys.
weird.
That's me.
That's weird. That's weird.
Because
To me, it is weird.
it's particularly with me. I've been told this where it's like that means I'm hanging on and I'm carrying that on with me, but like no, it's not. That happened in the past. It's a photo of the past. Me keeping a photo of the past doesn't bring it to my present. It's just a photo of the past. I'm not
Yeah,
carrying it
but
with me.
But that's
It's like a memory. Are you deleting memories from your brain? Like it still exists even if the picture's not there.
But I mean,
doesn't
if
have to be-
if you get into a relationship and they ask you to get rid of it, are you
Yeah,
getting
if-
rid of it?
yeah.
I
you
said
should
no.
get
I
rid
say
of it.
no.
Oh, okay.
That's wow. Okay.
And
I didn't
specifically,
know that.
photo. Yeah, no, it's been a thing. It's been an issue with more than one relationship.
Well, yeah. If
It's
repeated,
because
then
I'm a
it's because-
photographer and I've saved everything.
Oh.
I know.
So-
You're gonna. That's me. I know. Not a lot of people be like, that should be easy for you, whatever, like this. But it's not. Like it's like things I've done in my past. I'm cool with leaving them in my past, but I've taken
I
this
think-
photo and I don't want to just delete this photo thinking it's going to erase the memory. That's all it is. It's just a memory. There's just a physical existence.
It's a
of it.
memory that the other person doesn't have to know about, though.
The other person doesn't have to. Well, no, they don't. Like
Yeah.
I could archive it, but I have to delete it. Is that what you're saying?
Whatever.
Like I have to delete it from
takes to-
existence.
Whatever it takes for you to, I guess, not show it. Social media is more public thing. Hey, he's just watching.
What's up, Heej? Does she agree with you completely there? In
I
that,
hope
like,
so.
otherwise, if she's not compatible, she's not good.
Exactly.
Like it's public.
He says
but
no.
Well, yeah. Mike. Yeah, I have no problem with hiding it from public, taking it down from public. But if it's like in a hard drive somewhere and I have to go find it to delete it, like I don't want to do that. Like if I have to have to click a bunch of things and look for things to delete, I don't think there's a purpose of that. If I'm not actively going back and looking at these things, why is it an issue? Why do I have to actively click open folders and go through memories to delete them because this person is asking me to, when there is no threat there? Like in my head, there is no threat there at all. It's just this is how I am with photos. If it was like a print or a letter, that's a little different for me. I don't need to keep letters. I probably still have boxes and stuff of old stuff that I just never threw out. But yeah, I could throw away letters and whatever. And gifts is another thing too, I guess. I don't know. It depends on the gift. You know? Am I gonna throw away clothes or something? Or trinkets, maybe. What thoughts there? She got you like a tennis racket, which is like, I don't know. I just thought tennis racket.
You know how you were talking about how a level, like, could you go back to being a friend with an ex? You were kind of alluding to there could be a level of friendship, right?
Yeah.
Like after you mentioned, like
There's
potentially having a level, like you don't have to be completely friends with them or hanging out with them all the time.
I'm
but
friends
then
with
there's
SJ.
still that.
I
Oh,
will. I'll say that.
But there's like varying levels of friendship after a breakup.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there are varying levels of this too, where if like you're in a current relationship and they ask you to get rid of something because it makes them feel uncomfortable or it makes it seem like you're clinging on to something, I think there's a level of delete stuff off of social media. Okay, no problem. Get rid of that shirt. It's just a shirt. I don't mind. If she starts telling you to forget your past, like how the fuck do you do that? Like, is there a level to this? Like, how am I supposed to just erase my brain?
That's true.
So he just said,
Like when you start getting into the whole deleted off your hard drive, yeah,
So-
there's extra effort in that kind of nonsense. It's kind of like, is this
Like,
how
I
far
didn't-
we're going?
it's
Do you
like
want me
I
to
was.
go?
That's the thing. It's like I wasn't even thinking about it, but now that you're asking for it, now you're making me think about it, and I wouldn't have thought about it otherwise. So, but now I have to like actively do things to.
So when I think, sorry, I was gonna say when I think of a girl that's doing that kind of thing, I'm like, this girl's nuts. I'm out.
Yeah, Dan, I'm with you on that one too. So okay, first to go back, Dan says he'll be honest, is he's too lazy to delete. But if Michaela asked him to, he would.
Right.
But I'm pretty sure he knows too. Michaela wouldn't ask him to.
Yeah.
Wouldn't need to ask him. It's almost like that. Like they're that far into it too, where they're like, it's not even a concern of hers. It's
Right.
more of a thing that comes up early, when maybe you just started establishing a relationship. So there's still jealousy. There's still like fear.
Yeah. The trust isn't there yet.
The trust isn't there yet. So that's when you can ask these things because you're insecure. And I think that's where the question comes out of insecurity. Like it's not
I
like
don't know if it's insecurity. To me, it's just
like in my
patient, I guess.
yeah. There's that word, the expectation, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
so okay. So Dan said that, and then Hiji said it's more like it was part of your life. You can't just get rid of chunks of life out because of a new relationship.
I
She thinks
agree.
it's unfair.
I agree, but at the same time, you can't expect the new person to look at your past and be all like, "That's
Happy
great."
about it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they can ask as much as they want.
Yeah.
But I'm
of
with
course.
Dan on the last thing there too. He says the past has shaped him for who he's become, and they love him for who he's
Shaped me
become,
for
who he
I am,
is.
who he's become. That's true. That's true.
Yeah. Like yeah. And I think about it too. It's like, am I cool with if my new interest, if my new girl has photos of her ex? And I thought, if they exist, that's fine. Is she actively looking at them? Is she like going to them and like opening them up and looking at them and remembering them on a regular basis? That would be something I'd be worried about. But if they just exist, but she never looks at them, I'm not worried about that. If she's friends with her ex too, there's another one. I'm gonna be inquisitive. I'm gonna be like, yo, what are you guys doing? Are you sure I'm probably gonna have to ask for some sort of like assurance. Hey,
Yeah.
are you sure you don't have feelings for him anymore? And
Right.
if I trust her and she says, nah, I don't even look at him that way, that's up to
Right.
me. I think it's up to my level of insecurity or security to be able to trust her there. I don't think I have to force her to remove something because I'm unable to trust what she just said. Do you know what I mean?
But it's what if it's not a matter of you trusting her, but you not trusting
The guy? That's
Yeah.
another thing too. If I see anything in terms of threat for the guy and I'd be like, I think he might still like you. And it's up to her. It's her call though. It's her life. It's like, do I really
Right,
want that
right.
level of control where
Yeah,
I have
for
to
me,
now
like,
restrict
it's-
her?
Yeah,
Yeah.
for me, I just don't want even like to even have that option.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You don't even
that's
want to
why
deal
it's-
with some
that's why
scenario like that.
It's a
Right?
waste of time for me. That's why
Yeah.
I cut it. And
Okay.
that's I'm not saying that's right. That's just I think that's what I think that's what would be something you can do to just get rid of one more thing to have an argument about. You know, like what, like there's no need to have um that sort of negative discussion because of your past or your ex. There's no reason to bring that into the new, thing. You can talk about it at the beginning of the when you're just getting to know each other. Be like, hey, like just letting you know, like I've been married before, or something like that. That's fine. But for you to be
there's
like,
another one too. Kids from a previous relationship.
for you to be like, hey, so this is my ex and that's my ex, and then it's weird. To me, it's weird. If a girl told me that they still talk to their ex, they still wish them happy birthday on their on or something like that, then I'd be like, that's cool, but then you're just not the person for me. So go find somebody who's okay with that. That's the way I would say it.
Yeah,
And
because if
that's
it's
fine.
not,
I'm not
if it's not fine with you from the beginning, it's probably going to be an issue that's going to reoccur
Right.
that you just don't want to deal
Yeah.
with, and then it doesn't go
Yeah.
farther than that.
It's
yeah,
not a matter of insecurity at that point. It's just, I think it's just, that's just disrespect.
you think it's courtesy, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, Hiji said here, I think if you want to be friends with your ex, then you should be open about it with your new person before getting into a relationship.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, it should be something that's transparent, full transparency.
Yes.
So in your example as well, I just came up with this scenario, but I know it's relationships with kids. If you had kids in a previous relationship,
Mhm.
that's way more attachment than a photo or a memory. You can't
Right.
delete those kids.
That's a living thing.
Yeah, can't just delete the kids.
Right.
What? I don't believe you. Just get rid of them.
Wow, Mike, what
Mike's-
the heck? That's
So easy.
toxic. Oh my goodness.
It's like, what if these kids still want him as they want their parents back together? It's like, but here's the Control Z. So, okay, I hear the argument. I've faced this again. I said a number of times in the past where they think that if I don't delete these photos, that I am choosing them over this new person, and I hate that.
That's insecurity.
I hate that. No,
That's insecurity.
well, yes, and I know, and it's more like I'm with. What do you mean? I'm with you. Like,
Exactly.
like
Yeah.
I'm actually with you. What do you
Yeah.
mean? I'm choosing them over you.
Right.
I'm with you. I'm the one spending all my time talking to you.
Why
And like,
the reason why they're thinking that way is because they've asked you to delete them and you don't. So
Exactly.
They think that you're putting more importance on that memory
yeah,
compared to them, and
Yeah.
that's where the argument happens.
and in my head, it's like that's as you said, immediately your
that's
immediate
insecurity. Yeah.
answer was that's insecurity, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't think I have to be responsible to address your insecurities when
Right.
it's like it's your baggage really that's causing that to happen.
Exactly.
Like-
Exactly. Like, you gotta understand, I don't ask like girls to delete like stuff. Like, I don't, like, it's just I do that for me because I don't want to talk about like
Yeah,
my exes with my new girlfriend. It's just, why? There's no point.
yeah,
The past doesn't matter. It is like Dan said, like, I am who I am because of my past, and
yeah,
if somebody were to ask me every single details about like my previous exes, then I'd be like, why? Like, what do you like? Why does that matter? Like, you want to know how happy I was with another person? Like, why?
yeah.
What does that
Yeah,
accomplish?
or
for this?
they go back far. Here's a scenario.
Yeah.
You match or you meet someone and you're interested. You're getting to know each other. You're falling for each other.
Yeah.
You decide, all right, let's go for this, and then all of your social media starts to get shared,
Right.
like maybe Facebook,
Right.
maybe Instagram, and then if it was private, anything that was private. So then you scroll back. Sometimes people scroll back.
Right.
And so then they see these old posts that I didn't delete,
Mhm.
where I said things when I was in
Yeah.
those relationships that were
Right.
very specific
Exactly.
things.
At that time.
And then and obviously it's not nice to see for the new person. It's not. But then it's like, I mean, I didn't ask
They
you to
see-
go back there. I didn't want you to go
man,
back there. It's like,
that's not fair, man. That's
I know
not fair.
it's not fair. I guess, but here's the thing: it's like it just started, right? You didn't even think about,
Yeah.
I forgot that was up there. Like that was years ago. Like you know what I mean? It was years ago. It's like I haven't thought about that person in years, and now you're looking through this stuff. I get it. I'm like, sorry you had to see that, but then now asking me now to go back there and delete it, I was like, oh yeah, archive, but I couldn't find them all or whatever. You know, like, I don't know. I don't think it's my responsibility to handle someone's insecurity that's coming from some sort of baggage. Because I think it took me a long time to get over that myself. Like, I was that person too, where I would see, oh, why does this still exist? Why do you still see these photos with this old guy? Do you still talk to that guy? Are you still friends with that guy? And then I get in this jealousy rage thing. And I was like, it took me a long time to learn that I don't need to be like that. Because I know now my own value. I'm like, if you don't want to be with me, if you choose someone else over me, that's your loss, regardless. Like, I always think that now. Like, it's like, so I don't have to feel this insecurity anymore. Like, agree with Toki. I wouldn't like to see the pictures on social media, but I wouldn't be angry if DayDay has some pic with his ex.
She says that, but that hasn't happened.
It's because he's already done the courtesy of deleting them for you, so
she'll never know. I mean, I'm not saying I don't believe her, but like once that actually happens, nobody knows. Like, I can say that, you know, I don't care if she has photos with her ex, because it doesn't. Because what we have now is it's incomparable with anything else. But at the same time, is that gonna annoy me? Probably.
Send me pics, guys.
Send me pics, guys.
Jokes.
That's funny.
Okay. All right. Well, I think we can start wrapping this one up. We've gone over time, so thank you guys for joining in, and Deji was in here listening earlier too. So what are we taking from this then? Is this something that we can actually like put a standard? cut off.
Everyone has different levels of understanding and expectation, so you can't really make any kind of standard.
I know you guys.
Everyone's gonna have different levels of tolerance for that kind of stuff.
Like, I think this was a thing, I will say it too, like, not just the couple's photos, but let's just say the more private things that might have been shared back then. Yes. I think courtesy-wise, for your ex, you delete those. You get rid of those. This was something in my past too that I didn't really think about back then. It was just, in my head, it was always like, I just keep everything. But then later on, other relationships, communication, open talks about this, I understood, like, yeah, I don't think anyone's going to be cool if we're not with that person anymore, or even me. I really hope none of my exes still have that stuff of me. Like, I don't care. I'm not, like, ashamed or, like, embarrassed or, like, think that there's anything I gotta hide, but, like, they really don't have any reason to have that of me anymore. And when I thought of that, I'm like, yeah, then I also don't have any reason to have that of them either. It's, like, out of courtesy, too. It's privacy. So that I understand. But if it's, like, a photo from, like, a birthday party, you know, and you're at a restaurant, I'm like, oh, look, I went to that restaurant. Oh, look what I ate at that restaurant. Oh, this is what I wore that time. Great. But it's like, there's no threat there. There's nothing about that photo that needs to be erased. I don't think there's no reason to, you know? I can archive things too if you don't want to see them in public. I don't want people to think I'm still with my ex if I'm with someone else.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah, that's a gesture I could openly do. And I have done. But deleting them from existence, I think, is pointless. I don't think maybe not pointless. Not pointless because some people find value in that. I just don't find value in that. So, or anything, any kind of like middle ground at all, or I don't know, one side.
No, like I said, I think when it comes to that whole like your new girl or your significant other now having those kind of like thoughts of delete your shit. It's understood, but I think, like I said, everyone's gonna have different levels of tolerance for it. I don't think there's any way. There's no such thing as a standard to relationships in that kind of conversation. Like you can't just say there's a right way to do this or a wrong way. Everyone has different levels of understanding or that tolerance.
There is like this like
I agree that
spectrum
there's no...
of acceptance depending on the person. Yeah.
I agree. There's no like specific right or wrong, but I think
It's not black and white, but it is.
I think there are ways to sort of kind of see that it's right.
What are you saying? Sorry, he just like picture with X is okay. Picture of X is not okay. You mean like, keeping a solo photo of someone?
Oh, yeah, that's weird.
Again, I'm gonna have to look for that if that's even up there. But
that's
like,
weird. That's weird. Oh my god. Ugh.
Oh, straight up. I have some in like, so I had framed some long ago, and it ended. Yeah, they were framed. Like you put them up, like side tables or whatever, desk.
Okay, got it.
Framed photos, right?
Right.
And then when we broke up, I was like, all right, take those down. I put all the frames away.
Yeah.
I might just do this now, actually, or I might just do this. But those photos are still in those frames in a drawer somewhere.
Why did you throw them out?
Because I'm like, I'll just use the frame when I can use the frame again.
Oh, got it. Okay.
But I just never took the photo out because it's more work.
So
it's like
you're just lazy. Yeah, you're just lazy.
I'm just lazy.
Yeah.
But I think to myself, okay, maybe I just toss those photos. I'll make some time and take the photos out and throw those. But like, I have those. People are gonna look in this drawer. You're hanging on to your past. I'm like, no, I'm hanging on the frames. Like it's the frames that I might use at some point. So there's that example too. But anyway. Okay. Anyway, good one. I'm probably gonna delete the first part of this podcast because I like where it kind of went to in this category. The title will be
there's no right or wrong way, but use common sense.
Oh, I was gonna say the title's gonna be like equal does not necessarily mean the same. And do you delete your ex's photo? Question mark. Clickbait. I don't know, something like that. Thanks guys for coming to the chat. This was a nice, really like interactive one.
Number 60.
Good conversation. Yeah, 60. I'm thinking every 10 could be more of like a chill, but it's hard on these on a weekly basis. I thought maybe 5 would be fun, but I don't see you guys that often. But anyway,
every time I come on, it's always relationships. I'm just ready to get roasted again. I'm like, I'm talking about being single.
Hey,
Good stuff.
It's funny.
Oh yeah.
No, not funny, but like,
yeah.
But like the whole point, I like you in here on these talks though, man, because you give the perspective of still.
I think it just
of a single like we need more single perspectives because most of the people who come out here are in relationships. Most.
I'm so lonely.
Don't worry, war, you ain't me. Kyle says.
So what do you say?
Kyle says, "Don't worry, war, you ain't me." 8 years, cute.
Oh, thank God. Someone got me beat. Yeah.
No, wait. Wait. What is Kyle talking about though? He's had like you've gone out. Has it been longer than 8 now? Since the last for Kyle, like yeah. Maybe that was longer than you, but not that much longer. Not that much.
No, man. We're not talking about it. It's all good.
Okay, it's fine. Anyway. Thanks guys. If you want chat, whatever, we'll see you on Discord, but YouTube, thank you for watching. Click like, subscribe, all that stuff. And we'll see you next week on Thursday, same time. Thanks for watching, guys.
Later.
Peace.